Good morning. Our hand today is kings. So in this hand we have a limper under the gun +1, and we're in middle position for next act. This limper is playing 33-7. He is definitely looking to be a tight passive player. We should probably label him as such. I'm sorry, a loose passive player. Somebody that's going to be fairly easy to play against. When he comes in with the raise, or when he check raises post flop or raises post flop, he's going to have a hand. So he limps, and that means he probably doesn't have a very strong hand. Let's check his early position stats. So he plays 34% of the time. Raise first in 6 out of 87. So that kind of tells me that he's probably raising with his strong pocket pairs, probably ace queen, ace king. He might be raising with jacks. He's probably playing his suited aces as well. Probably your suited Broadway, your suited connectors he's calling with. I'm going to say just Broadway in general. I'll leave these out. That's 15.2%. That might not be enough. Let's see how many hands we had. 98 hands, so 33 out of 98. He limps first in 24 out of 87, so 28%. That's only 15%, so maybe he's going to be doing it with more of these. That's a 20%. Maybe gappers. I mean, do people really know the value of the gappers, suited gappers, or are they going just for connected cards? Let's see if I've got some notes. Nah, I don't have. We got 3-bet range. Ace 5 off. Wow. That might be in the blind. Do I have a call out of position? Yeah, I've got some information on that. So, yeah, maybe all of the aces is what he calls. That gets us up, and maybe take those off. Let's say something like that. And then it's us. My mid position's already going to be pretty tight, so I think we could easily raise. Just as like first in. Probably since we're out of position. Since we have so many players behind us, we should probably raise a number that try to isolate us against this player. 3 big blinds going to be big blinds going to be too small. 4 is probably going to be too small as well. I think we'd probably be raising probably 6 or 7 big blinds here. Really apply the pressure. If he folds, he folds. It allows us to pick up 2.4 big blinds at that point. Looking behind us, we have a tight player here. He's probably not going to call unless he has a good hand. He's looking to be a loose player. Called 2 bets 46% of the time. Maybe he calls in high position on us. We don't know much about the button. We have looser players in both of the blinds. We've got a 30-16 in the small blind, but then a 23-13 in the big blind. Not so much. If one of these calls, we're going to have position. So really what we're trying to do is to get these players fold. So what do? I raise the 4 big blinds. I guess it's kind of an unknown table. This is 23rd hand for me, so maybe that's okay. I mean, we are raising 16.4%. We're trying to isolate. And I think this range is okay. If called, we're gonna have some playability. So we do get that 1 caller, and then we get villain 7 call and villain 9 call. So I kind of think whatever he limps with, he's probably going to be calling. So we'll leave that player as his standard, or whatever his limping range is, his calling range. I'm raising 16.4%, and I think this is why it kind of feel like if we raise 5 or 6, maybe we get heads up. It's going to make it harder for people to call us. Now, what about villain 4? He's called 46% of the time. He's mid position. Called 2-bet, yeah, 4 out of 9. He is probably, I don't have him 3-betting at all, but I don't have a huge number of hands. So 3 bets, 58 opportunities. He did not take it. Let's say he's only 3-betting aces, kings. Let's give him the broadways, suited, offsuited. Let's give him some of those offsuit aces. Let's give him more suited cards, probably something like that. That's 25%. We might need more in here just to get up to 40%. That's 31%. We'll leave that. I think that's still a little wide. And then small blind called. Small blind seems to be much tighter. I do think he would have raised kings plus ace king, probably queens plus ace king. So I think this player is going to be pretty tight. Maybe all suited aces. That's at 11%. But something like, I'm going to say something like that. Pretty tight. Only 29%. He's going to be out of position. I think he's just looking to hit and connect. All right, so we see a flop of queen 9-6 rainbow. So queen 9-6 rainbow. My range's equity is sitting right around 28%. And it checks to us. We are multi-way. We shouldn't be messing around with anything. And we're going to have to be pretty honest because we're probably not going to be getting many folds. So our bets are going to be top pair. I think we're going to be betting for some value. I think jacks and tens. Probably just going to have to check call with those open enders. I think we can bet for value. I'm sorry, not for value, as a bluff. And maybe even the gut shots. I think the overcard's ace king. I think that's too risky. I don't think we're generating enough folds. So I kind of think that's going to be our C betting range. We're definitely going to be skewed. We're going to have twice as much value as we do bluffs. Yeah, maybe we need half as much. So let's see if we do 2-card backdoor flush draws. If we have hands like this, jack, king, jack, ace 10, king 10, jack 10, ten, 8. Yeah. Ooh, and 7, 8. Maybe something like that. That gets us closer. I think that maybe that's closer. I don't think we should be betting all of our overcards. That's for sure. The ace kings, I think a lot of people do that, but you're not getting the folds, and you're just going to have to give up. So at least with these, we have some draws that we can connect with. And maybe we have too much here. Maybe the top pair. Maybe we have too much of our top pair to bet. Maybe we could bet some of these pocket pairs kind of as a bluff, but I think that's going to be a pretty decent C bet. How much we C bet? Well, we have 4 opponents. I think we're probably going to bet. I mean, minimum's half pot, and I think that's probably what I would do. If we get called, the pot's going to be pretty large at this point. And I think we are going to get called. This connects with a lot of hands. It's going to give a lot of draws. Any queen's going to probably call. I would bet, uh, a nines. If he has a nine or he has a nine, he might call. This guy might fold because he's got two players behind us. So I bet 11. I bet probably what 2/3. And villain 4 folds. So he misses a lot. Villain 4 folds. Villain 7 calls. His fold to c-bet when out of position is 29%, really 2 out of 7, 60%. I think he's calling with something, so I think his call is going to be at least a pair, definitely top pair plus. Could he call with jacks and tens and these middle pairs? Maybe. I do think he's probably calling with open enders, maybe not the gut shots. Because he still has an opponent after him. So if he has jacks and tens, yeah, I'm gonna say he calls with jacks and tens. What about the middle pair, the nines? That's, I think, maybe 50% if he has that. I don't think sevens and eights are going to be calling bottom pair, with versus to get three-way. I don't think most players do that, and I don't think we're getting a good number. We just have a really small sample size here. So I'm going to say that's his call, and then villain 9 folds. A lot of junk in his hand. All right, so now we're going to go to the turn. So that's their flop range. He continued 35.6%. He has 53 combos. I didn't c-bet everything. And heads up's going to be a little bit different. Heads up, I would c-bet quite a bit more. I'd c-bet with pocket pairs, or kind of a mix between bluff and value. So, yeah, if we were heads up, I'd bet jacks and tens. I'd bet those nines. I'd probably bet the overcards, ace king. Possibly bet like some of these small pairs as a bluff, or maybe the bottom pairs as a bluff, and so forth. But multi-way, we now go to the turn. 6 of clubs. All right, so 6 of clubs. We have a little increase in equity here. Obviously, if the 6 is out there, he's hit. And it's a possibility. I eliminated it from his range because I'm saying I'm just not sure if he was going to call it. He checks. I think he's checking 100% of his range. And now the question is, he's already called once. I think he's probably having a queen, maybe jacks and tens at best. So if I bet him, or if I bet, I think he's going to call with all of his top pair hands. And his top pair, look at, he's got 50, almost 53% of his hands is top pair. So I think he's going to call there. And I think this pocket pair below the top card is probably like 50, maybe 70%. 70% of the time he'll call it. There we go. 70% of the time he'll call. I don't think he's calling. I mean, he could call with the flush draw. He could call with an open ender again. So I don't think he's folding a whole lot. So since he's not folding, I think we should be betting for value. Now with the top pair, I think now's the time to probably check behind our weaker top pairs. So like the queen jack, queen 10. Our kickers could be problematic. Queen jack's probably the cutoff here. So I think like king queen, ace queen, we're going to be betting for value. We're going to be checking the other queens, and we'll probably have to call if he bets. Like if we have queen jack, queen 10, we'll probably have to call. But I do think we're going to be betting all of those. What about our draws? I don't think we're generating enough folds from our draws. So I'm not I don't really think we should be betting all of our draws here. I think maybe the combination, like if we have the ace, it makes it less likely that he has he has the nut flush draw, and he's going to be calling. So I think what we're going to be looking at is probably betting our flush draws that are kind of like the combo draws, like our straights, probably our gut shots, like 10-8, 8-7, open enders. I think our ace king we're probably just gonna have to check behind. We're not getting enough folds. I don't think anyways. Let's add those. I think we bet all of our straight draws. I think maybe with the flush draws, king jack should be there. King 10 should be there. I don't think the aces. I don't know if he calls. I think that's probably okay. We're gonna have more value, and I'm okay with that. I think we're exploiting him. I think he's got way too many top pairs. He's not gonna fold it. He does have a small amount of flush draws. He's only folding 10% of the time. We're gonna expect him to call a lot. So let's see what I do. I bet. How much do I bet? I bet here, what, 2/3 pot? Three. Yeah, about 2/3. That's probably okay. We could probably go a little bit higher, because I'm not sure if he's gonna fold. So I think if we're gonna scale it, we should be betting top pair higher, over pair. We should be betting all of those higher, because we know that he's gonna call. And he does call, so I've got him calling it 92%. So 92.9%. He has 47.4 combos. Mine, not really thrilled. I think we could be exploitable and not even bet our draws. Just because I don't think he has. I don't think our opponent's going to have a whole lot. Get this fixed. There we go. 48 combos, and now we see a river, 4 spades. That doesn't change anything. I'm gonna guess he checks, check 100%, and then if I bet he call, what is he gonna call with? I definitely think he's calling with top pair, and he could be stubborn. That if he doesn't believe that I have a queen, he might call with these jacks and tens, but he's calling at least 65.4% of the time. He's going to be folding 35%. So we're going to be betting for value. We should be bet for value, top pair plus. If we bet as a bluff, it would be strictly with these missed flushes. And I think if we bet 100, that's 29%. That's going to be too much. I don't think he's folding. I think the proper play to mix it in is to bet, and I guess that'll be 100%. We'll be at over 2-to-1 value to bluff, but I don't know if Villain is going to. Yeah, he's going to be folding some, but that's because I had him calling pocket pairs, and I had him calling some of these draws. That's a pretty small. Now you get rid of, if he didn't call with those, now you're looking at nothing hands. So I did bet. I think I got all in here, and I think that's probably what was a pretty good bet on the turn. Kind of planning. Had 80 effective stack. If I bet 40, that's going to build the pot to 120, and there's going to be 40 behind. easy call for him. I think betting a little bit smaller, brings the pot up to like 90, leaves us with 50 something. So another maybe two pair, or 2/3 pot. I did bet all in. He calls. I'm guessing he has a queen. Um, so I showed kings. He had two pair actually. He had queen nine. So um, when we look at his range, I didn't have queen nine in his range. I did luck out. Um, I did luck out a little bit. He's not folding that. Um, so he had he had queen nine offsuit. So if he played queen nine offsuit, we're probably looking at something like this as well. Maybe all the suited kings um, that he's calling here. Um, yeah, he's got two pair 11% of the time, top pair still, and I don't think changes a whole lot. Six of clubs, possibility of a full house now. Yeah, he's got so many hands here. Yeah, if he doesn't call those, he'd still call all with the queens. He's not folding a whole lot. And then the river, four of spades. Nothing. I mean, the thing with the nothing is he's gonna fold those, but those are hands that I beat. So even with my nothing, I mean, if I have king jack at king 10, I'm gonna beat some of his draws. So I don't think we're gonna be bluffing here. I think we bet top pair for value. Um, might be splitting, but I didn't have this hand in there because I didn't think he'd be as wide. So we can kind of add in a note here. Call call MP ISO of with queen nine off. Add a note there. How do I think I did? I think the same was pretty good. I think I played it okay. We're unbalanced, but I think probably okay when we look at the players. I think we're unbalanced because we're exploiting the fact that this player probably not going to be folding a whole lot. All right, hopefully you enjoy the scene. If you do, look tomorrow for another.